Button. Good morning, live from New York. Uncle Dan here, and this is going to be an earth-shattering session for you guys. If you allow your mind to be open to new ideas, new concepts, I promise you that I'm going to leave you with some things today during this session that you haven't thought about before if you've never been in this program. That's my promise. I'm going to do the very best I can to do that, because I want you to leave here with new ways of looking at the world, new distinctions, new action, new things that you can do in life. So I promise you, I'm going to leave you with some things today that you can put on the court immediately in your life that's going to impact your life. Okay? So this is your world, right? This is your world. You see my screen? Do you see my screen, Tara?
Yep, I see it.
Yeah. Well, this isn't how you're dressed, hopefully, and that's not what you look like.
No.
But here's the point of all this. Watch, you guys have a tough job, right? Little of my background. 1998, I raised $50 million and we bought a company called ProCare from British Petroleum. So overnight, all of a sudden, I was a part owner in 104 auto repair and tire stores with 1,000 employees all over Ohio. We have 15 stores in Pittsburgh and 22 in Cleveland and 8 in Toledo and some in Dayton and Cincinnati and Columbus and Akron. All throughout that whole area, it had to be like close to 100, 1 or 2 in Kentucky, right over the river from Cincinnati, and then down in the Carolinas, we had a bunch of stores. Anyway, my point is that I'm familiar with your world. I'm a part of it. I've been a part of it for the past 20 years, 21 years. Okay. And for a couple of years, I ran the 8 stores in Toledo. So I love it. I love working with the people. And so anyway, it's a tough job. You got to deal with the parts people, and you got to deal with the technicians, and you got to deal with the customers who are standing in front of you, right? And you got to deal with people on the phone. And my cartoonist didn't put a computer here on the counter. There should be a computer right here, because you got to deal with people coming in on the computer too. And you also got to deal with the craziness, the crazy stuff that happens in the business, right? The breakdowns, the challenges. You got to deal with it all. And the only tools you have are language and action. You can communicate and move your body. That's it. Those are the only tools you have. As a matter of fact, when you wake up in the morning like this, your eyes go open. Everybody on the planet's equal at that moment, because all any of us can do is move and communicate. There is nothing else. So the game is to become really effective inside the cartoon. We can't change the cartoon world. Matter of fact, you have a cartoon of your personal life too, Tara, as I do. Right? The soccer mom that comes in has their own cartoon that they live in, their own messiness, their own chaos that they live in. Life is chaotic. The game is like basketball. You know, a great basketball player can dribble down the court. A guard, use an example like a LeBron James or Michael Jordan or Steve Nash or Larry Bird or one of the greats, right? Could dribble down the court and not have to worry, because they understand the moves in the game so well that they adapt in real time. That's what this training's all about. Because we want the chaos. Inside the chaos is where the action happens. But also, it's inside the chaos is where the breakdowns occur. Now, I started this business because after about 4 or 5 months of visiting my stores, when I was a brand new owner of the business, I was at a partner meeting and I said, guys, there's 10 owners in the company. And I said, listen to me. It was my turn to talk. And I said, we're not in the auto repair and tire business. And they said, what are you talking about? I said, listen to me carefully. We run a giant call center. We've got 350 people right now as we speak, answering phones and talking with customers. We are flying blind. We have no idea what they're doing. None. But I can tell you this, that I believe, because of what I'm hearing. Now, a little backstory about myself. I had started studying about language and communication. Some of the stuff I'm going to share with you today, 20 years earlier, when I was 30 years old. I took it very seriously because when I was a young man, in my late 20s, I went through a divorce and it was really painful. And I knew I knew there was a problem. And after a while, I realized it wasn't her, right? It was me. I didn't know how to communicate very well. So I had to learn. So I was fortunate and I ran across some people that taught me a lot. And I've been studying this stuff ever since. And I realized that it's the foundation of life, right? I'm going to show you this. And I use diagrams and I use models like this to teach because it'll paints a picture in your head, you know. This next model, can you see this clearly? I can make
Yeah,
it
I got it.
bigger.
No, I zoomed it in.
Oh, there we go. There we go. Even better. So, like I said, your life exists in language. With this, I call this little talk I give with this infographic above the line, below the line. Above the line is everything in your life. This is absolutely everything in your life that's man-made, right? So the bike represents your fitness and health, and here's your family, and here's you, and here's your house, and here's your car, right? And your income, everything, right? And here's your community that you live in, the buildings in town, and all the relationships of all the people in your community are above the line. Here's your business. This is the business section over here. And here's your fellow employees. And here's your buildings. Oh, by the way, here's how they measure business right here in the P&Ls and what we call KPIs, key performance indicators, and the revenue figures and all the financials. Excuse me. Everything is above the line. There's a couple of things that are above the line, but that we don't have much control over. This is all man-made stuff. These are all the results in your life, right? All the results. What's below the line, right? What's below the line is the engine room, the boiler room. This is language and communication. There is nothing, nothing happens above the line that's not generated or caused below the line. All the results up here in your life are caused by the language and communication. That's the foundation. There's only a few things above the line that are not caused by language and communication. A few. That's you, right? Watch. Your body, you're a machine. I'm a machine. Your heart rate, blood pressure, temperature control, nervous system, sight, smell, taste, all your senses, waste elimination, all of that is automatic. You don't control it very much at all. You can't control your breathing for more than a minute or two. Your heart rate, maybe you could slow it down a little, but you don't have control over it. You can't take your heart rate in 10 seconds from 120 down to 70. It doesn't work like that because the body is automatic. You sweat when you sweat. You're hungry, right? So this machine, you're a machine, and your role is survival. So the whole machine is a survival-based machine. That's what you're here for. But every result in your life happens because of language. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yeah. And so the problem in business has been, right, that business owner operators, right, hyperventilate and hyper focus on these numbers up here, their revenue numbers, their KPIs, their P&L, all that. They focus on it like crazy. And I did the same thing when I had that big company with 1,000 employees and whatever, right? I can't tell you how many times I took $25,000 out of the bank, right, to plunk it down on a radio, TV commercials for a tire promotion and all this other stuff. We invested in it. Boom, up here. We didn't focus down here at all on the language and communication. It's a mistake. I learned the hard way. Now I teach and train and coach people. If you focus down here, first, up here is amazing. Up here starts to grow like crazy. We have companies now that are growing like you can't even imagine because they focus on the communication. There is nothing else in life but how you communicate with yourself and with other people. But what does that mean? In communication, it means speaking, it means writing, it means texting, sending video, text messages, right? It means moving. It also means a couple of other things, right? What other forms of communication are there, Tara?
What we said, texting, calling, email. Mm, just face to face.
Yeah, right. Looking in somebody's eyes, body language, right?
Mm-hmm.
Smiling. What else? There's a big one missing.
You said body language, smiling, eye contact. Just the way you say things.
Do you see me?
No, wait, now I do. Listening.
There we go. Listening. Right. Right. We have to listen. Hearing is automatic. Listening requires some focus. I call that generous listening. Listening carefully to what's going on. Because you want to communicate more effectively. So you got to listen. Not just hear. Listen. You can have a hearing on in the background, and you hear all the noise, but you're not paying any attention, right?
Right.
You got to bring some intentionality to it if you want to hear. So is it not true then? I mean, does that make sense? That
Yeah,
every result in your life is tied to how you communicate?
absolutely.
No result left out. Nothing. All we have as human beings is our ability to communicate and move our bodies. That's it. So how come some people are way more effective than other people? They
Some people,
communicate. They
yeah.
communicate differently.
Hmm.
So what does it mean to communicate effectively? That's the $64 million question. What does that mean? It's all communication, right? So what does it mean to communicate effectively? What do you think?
I mean, you have to listen.
Yeah.
Listening
Listening, right? What else?
clearly about what you're talking about.
Clearly,
You
what do you
have to be
mean?
clear. Like you got to be clear about what you're
Yes,
talking about.
absolutely. You got to
Accurate.
try. You got to try to be clear, but where does clarity happen?
Just being knowledgeable.
If it's clear or not, who determines that?
Well, if I'm discussing something with somebody, I need to know what I'm talking about.
Yes, but that doesn't mean what you're saying is clear to the other person. Like right now, I'm talking about a very complex topic that I've been working on this talk for 20 some odd years, right? I know where it's going and I know what I want to try and accomplish. But the clarity of it is determined by you, not me. I do the best I can to make something simple and clear, but you have to listen to it. It has to be clear to you. You have to determine if it's clear or not, not me, right?
Right.
So we communicate. Here's how communication works. Watch. I'm speaking. I'm speaking right now into this microphone, right? It goes through the internet. It comes out into your ears. It goes into your ears. It moves the hammer and anvil in your by your eardrum, and it makes little electrical and chemical impulses. The little hairs moving around in there on your eardrum and inside the ear canal, and they create electrical and chemical changes that travel into your brain and through your auditory nerve. Boom, and then it produces signals and electrical impulses and everything up here, and then you have to interpret it. What does that mean? That's how it happens. But be clear, when you communicate with somebody, effectively or ineffectively, you're making changes over there. Do you have children at all?
Yep. I have 4.
Get out of here, really? Wow. How old are they?
6 months, and in March, my girls will be 11, 15, and 19.
And the 6 month old. Good
Yeah, my
job.
boy. Started all
good,
over.
good job. But anyway, so it's really important to see that when you communicate as a parent, you change your children
Right.
biologically. I'm serious. It's serious stuff. That's why all this stuff about video games and everything is so important, because you program the machine that way. That's why you're here, because I'm gonna share with you these distinctions about communication, because I want you to get in touch with your personal power at such a level that you're unstoppable in your life.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah. Do you want to live a powerful life?
Absolutely.
I wish I could talk with Brandon.
I'm on here.
Hey, there he is. Hey, Brandon. You want to
Hey.
live a powerful life, Brandon?
Oh, absolutely.
So let me ask you guys a question. Did anybody, and by the way, I've asked that question to thousands of people over the years. Everybody raises their hand. Yes, I want to live a powerful life. So here's my question. Did you, as you were growing up, did anybody ever sit you down, either one of you, and say, Tara, in order for you to live a powerful life and become a really powerful woman while you're here on the planet, this is exactly what you need to know?
No,
Nope.
no, that didn't happen.
Doesn't happen. It's happening. It's happening now. I'm showing you. I'm going to show you the source of personal power today. I've been studying this stuff very deeply for a long time. And I know what it is. I know what the source of power is. I'm going to explain it to you. And at the end of the day, you're going to go, I think it makes sense. And I'm going to show you how to access it whenever you want. How does that sound?
Sounds
Sounds
great.
good to me.
All right. Why not? We're here on the planet, right? All right. So somebody's on are you on a speakerphone, Brandon? Brandon?
Yeah, I'm in a. I wasn't able to get onto a laptop, so I'm kind of in an area where there's other individuals. So I'm trying to mute myself whenever I'm not talking.
All right, good. So you could go ahead and mute yourself now. And if I call on, you can unmute yourself. How's that sound? Because your microphone is
Perfect.
picking up a lot of the background noise. You know. So I'm going to show you another model. I became so clear that it's all about life is about language and communication, right? I've been studying this stuff, like I said, since I was 30 years of age. And but when I got involved in the automotive industry and as a partner in that big company, I got really got into it, because I could see so clearly as a business, we were leaving 50 million a year on the table. 50 million, right? And because it's not because people were bad people, but because they didn't know the stuff I'm showing you. They didn't understand what the dance was. Now, over the last 20 years, I've measured more than 1 million business conversations, word by word, right? That's a lot. And here's some of the findings, right? And I measured in not just automotive, I measured in the water industry, the propane industry, the glass industry, medical, dental, financial services, paint industry, car dealerships, and of course, most of it in auto repair and tires. Okay. I was sitting there one day minding my own business, and I had on computer screens, I had spreadsheets where I was doing this analysis. I have software I've developed to analyze phone calls. And I went, holy mackerel, I could see, I had an aha moment. I saw something very clearly for the first time. Like we do, it happens to us. You know, the day you learn to ride a bike, you go, wow, you learn balance, right? And but this was, I saw something complete. I saw 3 distinct layers of communication taking place across all these industries. It didn't matter what the industry was. I saw the 3 common same levels, I call them levels or layers of communication taking place. The first thing I saw was automatic communication, and I could measure it, and I said, wow, amazing. The aha moment for me, it became very clear what was the aha moment for me was that you know, and it made perfect sense because if you look at the first line here, it says human beings are hardwired for survival. Just like I mentioned a minute ago, a couple of minutes ago, I said we're survival machines. That's what we're on the planet to do, survive, and we're automatic. Everything about you is machine-like. How the body works, right? We're machines. Well, guess what? Much of communication is automatic too. Why? For survival. You say what you say today, right? You wake up and you say what you say today and you communicate the way you communicate. Why? Because it kept you alive for the past 20, 30 years, 40 years, 50, in my case, 60 years. So why change it? It's kept me alive. Why should I change anything? It's working for me. I'll prove it to you how automatic you are when it comes to communicate. I'm going to pause the screen here for a second. I'm going to ask you, each of you, a question. And I want you to just blurt out the answer that comes to mind automatically. Ready? Ready? You
Yeah.
guys ready?
Mhm.
All right. What color is a Ferrari?
Red.
I knew that. It's always red, right? Every now and then there's somebody says yellow or black or whatever, but it's still there's an answer there. What food do you eat when you go to the movies?
Popcorn.
Popcorn.
You have to. It's like a law, right? You didn't think about those answers, did you?
No.
Boom! It's
Yeah.
programmed. It's programmed in the machine. When you, Brandon, are you married? You got a family at home?
Yes.
You got a wife and kids?
Yep. Wife and kids.
Yeah. So you go home, both of you go home and you watch tonight when you go home, you do the same things. You have the same types of conversations with your mates, with your children, and then it's like a machine. Why? For survival. That's how we operate. That's how we roll. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Mhm.
What does it cost me for an oil change for my Camry?
44.95.
$29.99.
Red Ferrari. How much is in alignment?
129.
$89.99.
You don't think about it. I am a human computer interface device. If you ask me a price on an oil change or a set of tires, I will type on the keypad and then I will regurgitate the information to you. That was the second layer that I observed across all industry is the information and data piece of it. And it was like, holy mackerel, this is unbelievable. I said, it makes perfect sense to me. The clarity is so clear to me that we are automatic machines for survival. That's a fact, number one. Number two, much of our communication I was measuring was automatic. And what it was automatic about was information and data. I said, my God. And it makes perfect sense why it's about information and data all the time. You know why? Because you guys were born into the information age. All of us. I was born in 1951, before the information age started, but starting at the age of 18, when I went off to college, and since then it's been 50 years. 50 years of information, more computers, faster computers, bigger computers, better software. To do what? Process data and information. Then the internet comes along in the mid 90s, and then the internet grows up and it goes from 56K to T1, and then then faster and faster. Now everybody's got T1 speed and they're coming into their house, and all for what? For processing information. Everybody gets a smartphone. Now everybody has all the information you could ever need right here at your fingertips.
All right, Scott, I got you ready to go, brother.
Everybody has unlimited information. The businesses have unlimited information. You have unlimited information. I'm saying it's a level playing field. You can't get any more information. Am I right or wrong?
No, you're right.
It's unlimited. I'm not saying it's accurate, but here's what's so. People are machines. Before they do anything, they consult Mr. Google. They do a search. It gives them what? information. Then they call you and they go, how much is blank? And you go, I'll bite $89.95, $129.95, $34.95. So we're in this loop. You got a machine, one machine, that's the customer, who does some research here, calling another machine, that's you, asking for information. And since you guys know a lot about cars and you have access to unlimited information about vehicles and sizes and prices and inventory amounts and all kinds of stuff, technology, diagrams, all information based. There's this loop created. It's like 95%, and it's across all industry. It doesn't matter the industry. If you call up a dental office and say, look, I got a problem with my crown, how much is it to fix it? No different than calling them and saying, I got a problem with my check engine light, how much? It's the same conversation. Or if you call a propane company and say, look, I'm a little low on propane, or my furnace isn't working, how much to fix it? It's the same conversation. The problem is that people answer with information. So that represents like 95% of all the conversations out there are in this loop. Now, why is this important? Well, because the only time commerce happens, that money shows up, is when there's an exchange of commitments. The only time it happens in any company on the planet, anywhere. All those results that are above the line happen because of commitments. The source of personal power lies in your ability to articulate your commitment. I'm going to spend more time on that. It's really important. But the only time commerce happens, money shows up in either of your company. What company are you with, Brandon?
I'm with Kansas Tire in Parsons, Kansas.
Hey, Kansas. With Sean. All right.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm thrilled that you're here, buddy.
Thanks,
I'm
man.
thrilled. Take over that front counter, please.
I'm on it.
Good. I'm going to help you with it. All right. And this is important stuff. Does that make sense when I say to you guys that the only time commerce happens is when there's an exchange of commitments?
Yep.
Like it goes like this, right? It goes like this, Tara. Tara, I promise to put the tires on your car today at 2:00, right? For $495 if you promise to pay me when I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
You promise?
Yes.
Okay, you promise to pay. Good. I promise to put them on. We've exchanged commitments.
Mm-hmm.
I'll see you come down, I'll put them on, they'll be done by 4. That's how commerce happens. Sounds simple enough, right? But it's not, because of the cartoon gets a little crazy, and because people don't know the moves. Don't know how to articulate commitment. Don't know what it's made of. How do I know that? Because I've measured more than 1 million calls. And trust me when I tell that. I say that. People don't know. But I'm gonna spend the next few minutes, I'm gonna share a little analogy with you about why commitment is so important, why commitment is the driver. And now there's nothing wrong. Listen, there's nothing wrong with being automatic, because that's who we are. And there's nothing wrong with information and data. So I don't want to give you that impression. There is nothing wrong with it. But you have to know when to shift gears and go into the commitment layer. Because you don't go to the commitment layer, nothing's going to happen. It's talky, prices, sizes, rim diameters, inventory, technical information. Then somebody goes, okay, thank you. I'll get back to you. Bye. That ever happened to you?
Yep.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. No more. Because the game here, I'm going to turn you guys into commitment machines. I'm going to share a little analogy with you to illustrate the point, why it's so important, why I say I want to turn you into commitment-based human beings. your companies into commitment-based companies, and it has to do with cavemen. Well, I want you to think, both of you, think back in time when you were cave people, caveman and cavewoman. Can you picture yourself up in Kansas like that?
Yeah, yeah. I think that was me here a couple of weeks ago with the
Or
Super Bowl.
down in Pennsylvania, right? You're a caveman, and Tara, you're
Yeah,
down there in Pennsylvania. You're a cavewoman, and you're going out. You got to go out and get food for the family because you're a survival-based machine. So you go out with a spear, all by yourself, and you're looking for small game, and you're looking for nuts and berries and stuff because you're scavenging for food as a cave person, right? That's what you're doing, all by yourself. And you go around a clump of rocks, and you go, "Uh-oh, bad day for Brandon. There's a 1,000-pound, fully grown male lion 15 feet from you. Guess what he's doing? Hunting for food for his family. And you're standing right in front of him. And one-on-one, you against a 1,000-pound male lion. I don't care how good you are with that spear. One swat, the spear is broken, and he drags you off to the cave. Right?
yeah,
You can't win. Make sense, Tara?
Yeah.
But that's that's not a good story for us. Right? But the good news is that's not how it really happens. Because part of the survival-based nature of human beings is we don't roll alone. You never hunt alone. Why? Because we're not the dominant species physically. We have to collaborate. We form a hunting party. We get 10 people. We meet the night before and we go, in caveman language, right? We're going to go out and hunt tomorrow morning at sunrise. Bring your spears and your slingshots, whatever you have, whatever weapon you have. Your little axe, your spear, but it's preferably spears, right? Anyway, you agree, you exchange commitments to go hunting. The next day you go out hunting and you come across the 1,000-pound grizzly bear. They all weigh 1,000 pounds in this community, by the way, all the animals. I'm joking with you, but now you confront the grizzly bear, 10 people, all with spears. You corner the grizzly bear, you kill the grizzly bear, and you go home with meat and with fur coats for the whole village. The giant bear. That's how you survive, by collaborating, by exchanging commitments. And you look at this a little bit and you realize quickly that you can't survive without the other members of the hunting party. It's not even possible. You simply can't survive without them. You need them. They need you. They need you to show up with your spear, and they need you to be ready to do battle. Otherwise, you don't survive as a species. Well, you look out there and you see the reason human beings are the dominant species on the planet is because we collaborate and we exchange commitments. A family, your families are networks of commitments held together by what? Language, by commitment. For what purpose? Survival. It's clear that your children cannot survive without you. Correct? They won't make it, depending how old
right.
they are. They won't make it. Your family is a network of commitments. Your company is a network of commitments. For what purpose? Survival. We form companies to survive and thrive. That's what we do. It's held together by language. Your community, guess what? Network of commitments. For what? Survival. Survival of the community. They provide the water and the police protection and the roads and the sewers and all that for what? So we can survive in comfort. The country is a network of commitments held together by language. The United States is a linguistic construction held together by language, formed by language, by the Declaration of Independence. The commitment, language holds it together. That's why this political process is so important. It holds the thing together. Listen, when the language breaks down, when the commitments break up and break apart in a family, what happens?
Oh, I mean, you're going to go into dysfunction in some form or fashion.
Family breaks up. It disappears. These people go this way, these people go this way, boom. It's called divorce. Which is also a linguistic phenomenon. You build a family through language, you break up a family through language. And the family breaks up because the commitments change. Companies break up like this overnight. Why? The commitments disappear. Whole countries. This is not trivial stuff what I'm talking about. The Soviet Union disintegrated in 1989. The commitments broke down. They could no longer hold it together. They gave it up. It disintegrated. Look what's happening in Venezuela right now. It was once in the 70s, early 70s. It was the most vibrant economy, free market economy. They changed the conversation from one of the free market economy to one of socialism, greed and corruption. The commitments changed. The country is disintegrating right before our very eyes. So, does it make sense? It's all about commitment. It's the commitment that holds everything together. Right? So here, watch. So let's look at it from a customer's point of view, since this is business. Here's your customer, right? The customer calls up and asks for a price over here on whatever. Let's say they have a check engine light and their brakes are not working right. Their vehicle. Grinding, terrible grinding. And they got it. So here's my question. They call up and ask for price. What is their real issue? What is their real motivating force?
To fix the brakes on our car.
Nope. What's the motivating force behind all this? That's true, what you said. They do want to fix the brakes, but it's not the motivating force.
Right,
Look,
if you explain the why behind fixing them, especially if you have a family and kids and you're driving around with brakes that aren't.
correct. It's the why. It's right here. They're survival based machines also. They have to survive. If you don't have a car where you guys live, if you don't have a working vehicle, it's the dead of winter. How are you going to survive? You can't. You can't go to work. You can't go to school. You can't go buy medicine. You can't buy food. You can't go visit grandma. You can't go on vacation. You can't go on a ski trip. You can't do anything without a vehicle. Am I right?
That's correct.
So your survival's at stake. That's the real driver. They call up all the time and they ask about price. Why? Because they're machines and because of this, they're conditioned just like you guys. They live in the information age. They ask about price, but what are they listening for? They're listening for your commitment, because that's the only thing. If they're all alone, let's say this is a brand new customer. They're not a part of your hunting party yet. They're alone in the savannah. They're alone in the jungle and alone in the woods, and they got a check engine light and their car's not working right and they're hosed. Their life is on hold. But they don't say that. They're never going to call up and say, hey, I'm really at your mercy. I'm really alone out here in the wilderness. I don't know what's going to happen. Oh, and here's my Amex card.
Right.
They don't roll like that. Even though that's what's going on. What they need for their survival is to hook up with a hunting party that has the right parts and has the right people, that has another a hunter that can look them in the eye and say, I'm going to take care of you. Come and join my hunting party. That's what you're saying in essence. I've got your back. And here's how we start with that, right? I'll show you. We start that off by saying, I can help you with that. First move. I don't care what they ask. You're never going to price. We start with, I can help you with that, because I can help you with that is the first move in making a commitment. That's what they want to hear. Is a price going to help them? If you give them a price, if they ask for a price to diagnose a check engine light and fix their brakes, is that going to help them?
Yes.
It's not going to fix their problem.
No, it won't fix their problem. It's really technically not even going to help them. You could always say, look, if you're so concerned about price, when you break down on the side of the road at night, it's 1 o'clock in the morning and you're all alone, go ahead and call Price. Is Price going to come help you? No.
Nope.
Tara will, Brandon will, Dan will. Why? Because we're people. That's what people do, is make commitments to help other people. That's the game in life. And you guys know that as parents. The game, your game is to help your children, help your families. Period. End of story. And so I want to take that, and that's just a fact. That's just the way we roll as human beings. And these customers calling you can't do this stuff themselves. And price is never the issue. That's the point. Price is never number one on the hit parade. It can't be. What's number one on the hit parade is they can't live their life because their life is on hold because their car is broken. Something's wrong with it, or they need to do maintenance on it. That's the real issue. Now, price is important. I'm not saying it's not important, but the first move you make should never be, $89.95 like red Ferrari. It doesn't produce anything. An exchange of information does not produce commitment. Commitment produces commitment. And then asking someone to commit in return, that produces commitment. And I'm going to give you a great price on it. But first move has got to be the commitment piece. That's why I call this program the language of commitment. Because so give me some feedback on this analogy. Does this make sense to you guys?
Yeah, I think the point you're trying to make is that we need to be trying to focus on the customer's needs and not focus on their question regarding price.
Yes.
Circle it back to what's important.
Correct. And throughout the industry, it's all hyper focused on price, and information. Why? Because they're like gerbils, automatic gerbils running around on the mill. Faster, more price, more information, and then like that, and it doesn't go anywhere. That's why most companies are lucky if they're breaking even in the business. Most chain store operations, right, are lucky if they're growing at the rate of 3, 4, 5%. Lucky. My clients are growing. The same day automotive is growing at the rate of 57% in the last 2.5 years, 3 years. 57%. Why? Because they focus on commitment. They become a commitment-based company. In-N-Out Tire Pros growing like crazy. Tracy's growing. Chernus Tire World growing. Big growth. Neighborhood Tire Pros, tremendous growth. Because we focus on different things. It's like we look at we go back to that real quick, go back to that other drawing. We focus down here on the language and the communication because we know that that's what drives all the results. And so my job is to teach the moves in language. There's a design behind it. So we'll get into a little bit more of this. So this model I call, and this is where we'll leave off today. I'll go over this with you today, right? And I promise you I was going to leave you with something that's going to be really, really, really powerful. And I am. All right, but I want to share with you, and this is a part of it. So we agree that the whole world runs on language and communication. It's all human beings have. The only tool we really have is our ability to communicate, right? In the world of communication, which can be complex, I mean, there's a million words in the English language, more than that. How do you choose the right words? They're almost impossible, right? Here's the good news. There's only 6 moves. It's called speech acts, responsible for everything on the planet. 6. When I first heard this almost 40 years ago, my jaw dropped. I went, what? And here I am talking about it to this day. 6 moves in language responsible for everything on the planet. And when I first heard this 40 years ago, 39 years ago, I thought to myself, wow, if I can master these 6 moves, then maybe it could be very useful for me. And I didn't know at the time, but I studied it for 6 years. I worked with my teacher that taught me this stuff. For 6 years, we worked together. When I got the automotive business, I pulled out all my own materials because I see the need. But here's the moves. In your whole life on the planet, all you've ever done is make requests of other people, make promises to yourself and other people, make assertions, statements of fact, make declarations, assessments, and offers. Those are the only 6 moves any of us have available to us at any moment in time. Wow. What do you think of that, Brandon? You ever hear of anything like that before?
No, not specifically laid out like that, no.
It's true. If you can think of any other moves that you make in language, let me know. What about you, Tara?
Nope, I never heard of it.
But think about what I'm saying, guys. If you want to become a master communicator, right, and you know that communication is a source of personal power, all you got to do is become an expert at these 6 moves, right? Now, here's the other side of it. Companies, like my old company, when we had 1,000 employees, and your companies, until I come along and share this stuff with them, people show up on the job and they do their very best, but there's no standards for effective communication. You guys have standards for how to handle money and credit and safety and environmental stuff and HR stuff, right? Clear standards for all that. But when it comes to communication, no standards. Because because this is new. Does that make sense what I'm saying?
Yes.
No standards.
Yeah.
So part of my work is to help establish standards for your companies and for you guys. So here's what I say makes sense as a model: effective communication, right? On one hand, you always want to be building relationship with people, especially in business. You want to build relationship and relatedness. On the other hand, does that make sense? You could also explain it. You want to draw people into your world. You want to expand the relationship. Okay? On the other hand, you want to have conversations that produce action. Action is everything. If there's no action, there's no results. So you have to speak in such a way that action happens consistently. So you got to learn what questions to ask and what types of requests to make that build trust. So when a customer hears you asking useful questions, they go, wow, this gal Tara is asking some unique questions. Pretty interesting to me. Maybe I could trust her. You make promises. Why? Because every time you make a promise and you keep a promise, what happens?
Build trust.
It goes right up here. Every time. If you make a promise and break a promise, you erode trust. The relationships are either expanding or contracting all the time. So you got to work on them. You know, it's like your old high school friends. They haven't seen in 20 years. You're not so close to them anymore. Right? Things
Nope.
like when you were sitting there in chemistry class and you were best friends, and all of a sudden you're not so close because you have different. You don't hang out together, so the relationships change. Assertions are very important too. You have to learn how to weave together facts and figures, right? Because when you make assertions, you provide facts to build trust and credibility or substantiate a claim. So it's like this. The tires I'm going to put on your car, Tara, have a 50,000 mile tread life warranty. And Brandon, who's my #1 tire technician, he's going to be putting the tires on your car today. Brandon is master certified in all kinds of anything to do with the tires and tire related issues. Right. So I say that somebody's a master certified technician. I can prove it. That's an assertion. I say that the tires have a 50,000 mile tread life warranty on them. That's in a statement of fact. And we want to state that with clarity. You mentioned before clarity. Yes, you want to state that with clarity, and hopefully they get it. Hopefully they understand it. Right? Declaration is really important. I want to spend a little time here. We only got about 3 minutes, so I'm going to leave you with this thought. Declarations are the most important right now that we want to focus on, because declarations are statements that invent the future. They design the future. How often? All the time. That's what I can help you with. That is a declaration. It invents a new future for somebody. When they call up and they say, I got a check engine light, my brakes are grinding, how much? Do they know at that moment, are they certain that you can help them? What do you guys think? Did you hear me, Brandon?
Yeah, I lost a little bit on the question.
All right. When somebody calls up and says to you, I got a check engine light on and my brakes are grinding terribly, how much to fix it? Do they know at that instant that you can fix it or not? Are they
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely not. They don't know that.
Right. That's why this is important. This is the first move that I want you to focus on making.
What do I do?
This is the first move I want you to focus on, because this opens possibilities for people instantly. I can help you. I can help you. I can help you. There's a declaration. Now, how you make a commitment is you take a declaration such as I can help you with that, and you add a time element to it. That turns it into a promise. A promise and a commitment are the same thing. It has to have a time element. It's like President Kennedy in 1962 from Rice University declared, we choose to go to the moon. We choose to go to the moon. Then he said, this decade. That's a commitment. We choose to go to the moon opened the possibility for the space race. When he said we choose to go to the moon and we're going to do it this decade, that's a commitment. The same thing here. I can help you with that. We know how to fix the car. I'm your car guy. The guy I'm going to put on the car is a master certified technician. These are all declarations and assertions designed to open the possibility that we're going to fix the car for you. I can help you with that. And I can do it today. That's a commitment. This is simple, but I wanted you to see the background in all this stuff building, because it's power. That's why I call this power sales training. My gift to you and my request of you is to practice saying I can help you with that at home and on the job, and become an I can help you with that human being everywhere in your life. If you want to become a billionaire, you got to help millions and millions and millions of people.
Right.
That's how they do it. You develop something that 1 million people can buy, like Uber, Airbnb, piece of software, computer program. Boom. I can help you with that. So here's what I'm going to leave you with today. I want you to practice, and we're going to spend more time on this stuff. Declarations are really, really, really powerful, really important. You can declare the future for other people, especially if you have a position of authority, like a parent. You can look your son in the eye. You got a son, Brandon?
Yep. Got two of them.
What are their names?
Corbin and Kelton.
Kelton. Interesting names. You look at Kelton one day, say, Kelton, you can become a great, great baseball player. It's a declaration about the future. Really,
Right.
Dad? His eyes open up. Yes, you have all the skills. That's a declaration in the form of an assessment. That's one of these. If I say you have all the skills, you have all the skills to become a Major League Baseball player. Really? Yes. You just got to practice, practice, practice. But the declarations invent the future. At that moment, it becomes real for them and for you. Listen, the Declaration of Independence was signed in Philadelphia in 1776, on July 4th, 1776. And they said, we're starting a new nation. That's a declaration. That's what the Declaration says. We're starting a new nation. We hereby dissolve the bonds that tie us to Great Britain. When? As of right now. It's done. It's over. It exists in real time, the document. And the founding fathers of on the Declaration, the last line says, we pledge our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor to this cause. But it's all language. That's what started this thing. And so you guys, the opportunity here is to work with me, work on this program, become serious students of language and communication. I'm telling you, the place to start is right here. You become known around your organization as an I can help you with that human being. Anybody comes to you with a problem? Yes, I can help. The answer is yes, I'm here to help you, right? It's just boom, 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 right? And let this become who you are. Put this by your phone. And so then the other piece, we're just about done with this. On this page here in the workbook, do you each have a workbook?
Yes.
So right here in the workbook on page 7, this is make this a little smaller. This is the approach. All done by design. In this column are the speech acts. Thanks for calling South Hanover. This is Dan. How can I help you? Oh, I got a problem with my brakes and my check engine light. Oh, I can help you with that. First thing, right out of the gate. I can help you with that. In fact, we can do it today. Now, in the first 10 seconds, of the call, you make a bold declaration. I can help you with that. And you say you could do it today. It's a commitment. Boom, right there. I'm telling you, that's all they want for the most part. Price will come after that. Get this big commitment out of the way first. So that's why I want you to practice in box 1 and box 2. Practice this hundreds of times until it lives in your bones. The phone rings. Yes, I can help you with that. Bring it down. I can do it right now or at 2 o'clock. And by the way, we also have payment plans starting at $20 with or without credit, if that should be of interest to you. That's right here. That's a declaration in the form of an offer. Right, but you want to get that out of the way quickly up somewhere in box 1 because you want to handle time and money for them right up front. I have the money for you. I've got the equipment. I got everything ready for you. I'm going to fix your car for you today. Don't worry about the money. I'm not saying that's not part of the script or whatever, but I'm just saying the gist of it is that. That's what you want them to hear. Wow, I'm in the right place. Yeah, you got money for me and you can fix it. I'm in. That's how this works. And then you button it up down here and say, great, I'll tell you what. Let me put you on hold for less than 1 minute. I want to check my schedule for you. Right? And you say, great news. Always great news. You always bring great news to people, by the way. You'll see as we go forward. Great news. I've got an appointment for you right now or at 2 o'clock. Which works best for you? So you button it up. You committed. We could do it today. Now you get granular. Down here, you get a little granular with the commitment. 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock. And choice close, I'll leave you with this thought, and then we'll run. Choice close. I'm going to give you an example of a choice close, Tara. Do you know what choice close? You ever hear that expression before? That term?
I have not.
Okay, choice close. Right, here's an example. Tara, I've got a chocolate cone or a vanilla cone. Which would you prefer?
Vanilla.
Vanilla. Brandon, I've got a roast beef sandwich, turkey sandwich. Which would you prefer?
Turkey.
Tara, I've got a trip to New York or a trip to Hawaii. Which would you prefer?
Hawaii.
Brandon, I've got a 66 Mustang or a 66 Corvette. Which would you prefer?
Corvette.
Good. Just like a machine, you answered every one of those choices automatically, correct?
Correct.
There was no thought.
Yep.
It was like red Ferrari. Why? Because I've been working on building a little trust with you guys, and in that mood of trust, if I give you an offer, you choose. Right? It's just the way we operate as human beings. So that's why choice close is bolded down here. It's highlighted. You always want to give people a choice of 2 times. It'll improve your closing percentages, and they're going to choose, even though they don't admit it right away. They're going to have an answer in their head. If you say, "I've got an opening for you today," you're in luck. Yeah, I could help you at 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock. Which would you prefer? They may come back and ask for price or some other thing, but they already have an answer in their head. Trust me, that's how it works. So right now, here's what I want you to do. Here's my request of you guys. This is a request. One of the 6 moves. I have a request. My request is you practice this 200 times over the next week. Minimum, just to get in the game. 200 times of practice. Out loud. Practicing doesn't mean to read it. It means you got to say it out loud, the words. And start to have it become part of your nervous system, because I promise you, power, the source of your personal power is in your ability to articulate your commitment. To do what? Help other people. I can help you right now, today, at 2 o'clock. That's the power move. That's going to change your life. You become known as a commitment-based human being, and I can help you with that human being. It's a game changer. All areas of life. Your income will grow. The better you get at this, trust me, you're going to make more money. You're going to make more sales. You're going to get more responsibility, bigger positions, titles. You also be able, when you become masterful at this, you teach your children. You want them to go out in the world with power. You want them to go out in the world and be able to articulate what they stand for in their life, on the playground, in class, when they get bullied. Everybody's going to have a confrontation. It happens to all children. You want them to be able to stand their ground. And they're going to do that by understanding how language works. And how to take a stand, what that means. Right, guys?
Right.
Yep.
Was this like anything you thought it would be?
I've never done anything like this.
Was this like, Brandon, when you said you were coming to a phone training class, what did you think?
I mean, yeah, I've done some other trainings before. It was in the vicinity of what I expected.
Oh, really? Good. All right, cool. Beautiful. Well, listen, good luck up there in Kansas. It's beautiful country. I love it up there. And Tara, I'll see you guys next week. Come, I'll tell you what, come on Thursday and we'll finish up this introductory piece. I have some more stuff I want to show you. And so Thursday at 11:45, okay?
Sounds good. Thank you.
Peace.
All right, thanks.
Bye-bye now.
Bye.
So long.